Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special and late episode of Pay Per View. My name is Callum. I am your usual host, and I'm joined by a special guest. Uh, Jonah, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast. Would you like to introduce
My
yourself?
pleasure. My pleasure, Callum. All right. I'm Johan Singer, streamer and creator. Well, I might as well put my supposed full name because I kind of did a little small minor rebrand as well. So I am Johan Singer Yusuf, but mostly known as Johan Singer online. My handle is basically Johan_Singer. So that's how you can find me basically everywhere on social media. I am a Twitch streamer for about 7 years going. I also create content here and there. I also got the chance to even participate on a Japanese TV show early last year called Monomon the World, where we impersonate singers. We impersonate Japanese singers and sing the songs that that they're famous for as well. So that was an amazing experience. Aside from that, I am also, and I noticed this is going to be a very interesting fact about me as well, considering that I'm on pay-per-view as well with Callum. I happen to be a pro wrestling ring announcer for Malaysia Pro Wrestling. I've been doing it for almost 10 years already. Actually, in February, I'm going to be coming into my 10th year as a ring announcer. So even though I did take a bit of a break in between due to the pandemic, but I got a chance to come back, and I'm still announcing for Malaysia Pro Wrestling as well. And it's been an amazing ride. Yeah.
Great. Um, yeah, that is super cool. Uh, why announcing? What was it about announcing that made you go, "Yeah, that's the thing I want to do"? Is it because it didn't involve taking any moves?
Well, it's kind of funny because I have taken a few bumps because, team player kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not shy in having to take certain bumps if it means like to help, quote unquote, further storylines or angles, and such. But I guess the whole announcing thing came about when, I've been a wrestling fan since like I think 1993 was when I started becoming a fan. And you know how like back in the days we would collect like wrestling figures, whether it's WWF action figures or um the handful of WCW figures I had as well, and then just like playing around and trying my best to do impressions of like I don't know, Gorilla Monsoon or Bobby Heenan or whoever, or Tony Schiavone or whoever that was commentating back in that era, back
Yeah.
in like the 90s and beyond as well. So and also trying to like do the best Howard Finkel or Gary Michael Capetta impressions or even Michael Buffer impressions as well. So and in 2015 I got an invite to join Malaysia Pro Wrestling as an announcer and commentator because the guy who was running my PW, well, he's now with another promotion, also based in Malaysia. Um, he noticed that I'm very, very knowledgeable about pro wrestling on a whole. So he was like, "Yeah, you know what? We'd love to have you come in as our play-by-play announcer at first, because at that time they already had a ring announcer of their own, and then things happened leading up to our first big event called, I think it was called Uprising. This was like back in February 2016. There were a lot of changes behind the scenes, and then eventually they decided to promote me to be a ring announcer as well, while also doing play-by-play announcing at the same time. So yeah, yeah. So most of the time I'm ring announcing. We used to do live commentary at our shows, and then eventually because we're a bit tight on budget as well, and a bit tight on like getting equipments all set up, like audio visual stuff as well. Um, Most of my commentary is now recorded in post, like after the video, the show is edited and such, then they will call me in and I'll record commentary as well. And yeah, so that has pretty much been my journey for like the past close to 10 years already.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Uh, Play by play must be such a difficult role because you got to know all the moves and who's pulling them
Yeah,
off. That
yeah.
like I have a bad time making notes when I do this podcast, and it's like I don't have to be good at that, but I should do better. But
I
yeah,
feel that.
wow.
I feel that because it's not just about like calling the moves as it happens in the ring. It's also about telling stories as well, trying to keep the fans up to date on like what's going on, why are these two wrestlers beefing, what's the implication behind these matches, any stipulations, and then sometimes I tend to, because I do tend to be like I do tend to over research as well. So sometimes I'll bring up interesting facts from like of wrestlers from like the past several years or so. Like for instance, and this kind of like this was something that I didn't that pretty much how do I say it? It pretty much I kind of lost my thought on this as well. So when we had our very first show back in our first major show after the pandemic was over as well, and the world started opening up. We had a guy called Chris Weiss from Australia, and he now currently wrestles for Pro Wrestling 01 in Japan. Um, I mean, I've heard about him. I've heard about him, and I did mention a few fun facts like how he's part of the Voodoo Murder stable, and I mentioned about the history of the stable going back to 2004 when they debuted in All Japan Pro Wrestling as well, and how Chris Weiss is a part of the stable now. I didn't realize this until like years later that I actually did get to watch Chris Weiss wrestle live while I was studying in Australia. About 10 years ago. And if I had known about that, or if I had remembered, I would have told him about it. No, not 10 years, 20 years ago. Yeah, so that was one of those details that I kind of missed out. And I'm like, oh gosh, I could have told him about it, but I totally completely like forgot about it as well until I went on Cage Match and decided to look up some results of the EPW, the Explosive Pro Wrestling show I watched when I was in Australia. Of course, the main reason I did that is because, well, one of the wrestlers who was on Wrestle Kingdom this year did compete in that EPW show I attended like 20 years ago. So, yeah, it's one of those interesting things as well. And I've announced a lot of wrestlers. Yeah, Emi Sakura, Robbie Eagles. Got a chance to announce people like wrestlers like Tajiri and Kai and Ho Ho Lun and so many others as well, including one wrestler who was also on the Wrestle Kingdom 20 card, which we're going to be talking about shortly.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
talking about Wrestle Kingdom 20, the big
Mm.
New Japan show that happens in the Tokyo Dome. And importantly, the final match of the man whose shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, usually for things like this, like a wrestling podcast, I put my MyPW t-shirt on. But since we are talking about Wrestle Kingdom 20, and because Hiroshi Tanahashi is my favorite wrestler of all time, I just got to rep him. Pretty much.
I think that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am not someone who watches New Japan. I think the last time I watched New Japan was Wrestle Kingdom, the one before AEW launched. So that's like
So that was
2018. It's 2018 because it's the
2019.
Is it 2019?
Oh, 2019, I think. Yeah, because that was before AEW launched. Kenny Omega was still with New Japan, and he faced Tanahashi in the main event for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, which was a great match, by the way. I enjoyed that match a lot. Yeah.
And I think I watched Kenny's match from last year, the one he came back to do after his injury. Well, his diverticulitis. I watched that.
Diverticulitis, yeah.
Yeah.
It was it the one with Will Ospreay?
No, he had one against Gabe Kidd last year.
Oh yeah, Gabe Kidd. So that was Wrestle Dynasty last year, I think. Yeah.
Is that a Dynasty? I don't remember because they did back to back Kingdom and Dynasty.
Yeah, they did back to back. Yeah. It was, I think it was the semi-main event before Zack Sabre Jr. defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Ricochet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Which, lovely for Zack. We love Zack main eventing Wrestle Kingdom. Should it have been against Ricochet? I don't know.
Yeah. It was a very, I mean, I mean, I have my own personal opinions on the Wrestle Dynasty card on a whole, but well, that's already like last year, so
Yeah,
it's
but
like
this
I
year
don't know if
was
I don't know if my opinions from last year would be relevant this year. So yeah,
it's all New
absolutely.
Japan for the most part. It's their big show. They're
Mhm.
doing this and a New Year's Dash. I haven't seen New
Yeah,
Year's Dash yet, but I know about some of the angles
neither
of
have
it.
I.
Um,
Yeah.
so there was a pre-show. I didn't catch the pre-show live because I didn't realize there was a pre-show, and I was very
Yeah.
confused about when it was and how to watch it. So, but I have watched it now because I spent this morning recapping the show just so I could remember everything. Um, there was a Young Lions tag match. If you don't watch New Japan or understand New Japan, Young Lions are like developmental talent who come into New Japan, and basically you get stripped of everything but your name. You have your name, and you've got black pants on, and you will take part in like opening matches, but also like you're doing ring crew work. You're like some like older wrestlers take on young lions as apprentices. It's a bit like a knight and a squire system almost.
That's a good way
Um,
of putting it, actually. Yeah, it is like a knight and a squire like system.
so four of those lads came out and had a tag match, and I couldn't tell you which one was which. And but they had a very good technical. They did a wrestle, and it was pretty good. The final Boston Crab was a pretty good Boston Crab. I could say that much.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
but the first match with people, you're like, oh, those are wrestlers who have identities and people. Was the second pre-show match of El
Yeah,
Phantasmo, the New Japan Pro Wrestling World, sorry, the NJPW World Television Champion against Chris Brooks from DDT Wrestling.
yeah.
Um, yeah, fun match. You asked specifically to talk about it, so did you want to have a
I
chat
mean,
about this?
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed that match a lot. But one of the things that really stood out for me was the fact that Chris Brooks was in that match because the crazy part was I just announced that guy when he came to Malaysia for a big show that we did called Love and Peace. It was one of the most unique shows I have, maybe the most unique show I've ever done, because not only does it involve pro wrestling from Malaysia Pro Wrestling, DDT Pro Wrestling, and Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, but there was basically an idol concert like in between matches involving KLP 48, NGT 48, Up Girls Pro Wrestling, which is of course the not just an idol group but also a quote unquote stable in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling led by the current Princess of Princess champions Miyu Watanabe, and also former Morning Musume member Mari Yaguchi. So yeah, Chris Brooks was on the card as well, and I got to announce him twice actually. One during the opening ceremony and during his six-man tag match as well, which was a lot of fun. So the fact that not long after he gets booked for like the biggest wrestling show of the year in Japan in the Tokyo Dome in front of undoubtedly the biggest Wrestle Kingdom like attendance in history. Not counting like January 4th shows from like before the Wrestle Kingdom name came about. Um, it's crazy to see. Like, it's his first. I think it's probably his first New Japan match, and
Yeah,
what a
yeah.
way to debut on like the biggest stage yet. And I mean, I haven't really like followed Chris Brooks' career. I am aware of him. I know what he has been doing in DDT as well. And I know about his faction. I know about his the two factions that he's in, one of which is Real Global Threat, which is a stable that consists of wrestlers from Thailand, Singapore, even Malaysia, and the Philippines. And Chris Brooks is like the only wrestler in that stable who is from outside of Asia. So it's really, really crazy to see that he would make his debut on such a big stage. And he even brought along like other like DDT guys as well. And even he even brought in Balian Aki from Choco Pro, who helped him out with that famous spot he does in every match where he takes like the resistance band, like bring all the way to like the ramp and then like snap it back to whoever he's facing, in this case El Fantasmo. So yeah, it's crazy to see. And it was a fun match. There were a lot of crazy antics. Um I kind of wish it was on the main card rather than the pre-show, but considering how loaded the main card is already, I think it would have in terms of the broadcast time as well, it would have been a bit overkill, but still good to see Chris Brooks in action in the Tokyo Dome. And Phantasmo ELP he's always been amazing, so it was a really fun match to watch.
Yeah, and their styles matched quite well. I mean, El Fantasma has a little bit more aerial flair than Brooks does, but Brooks is a really solid ground wrestler, and I think it was also about highlighting his ability to go, because I think for New Japan fans, DDT has a reputation of being the dumb brand. It's the funny dumb
Mhm.
place, and they still got
Yeah,
that with the resistor bands, and his one of his one of
yeah.
his followers, Chris Brooks followers, had a puppet because we love
Hmm.
puppets in
Yeah, of
wrestling. More puppets in wrestling is
course.
a good thing. Um, but yeah, Elvin Tasmo got the win eventually. It was a good like if they want to book him more, because like he's pretty friendly with Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's it makes sense to kind of bring him into that faction eventually, most likely. But yeah, great pre-show match. I also think you could have just put it on the main card. But yeah, the based on the time length of the last two matches, and especially
Oh yeah.
how long Tanahashi's goodbye is, which is pay-per-view length by itself.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
I can see why it was done on the pre-show. Um,
Mm.
and we'll move on to the main card now with the first match, which was a tornado six men, a tornado Rambo for the never open
Yeah.
weight six-man tag team championships,
Mm.
which had TMDK, which is Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, that's a name I can't say. Rehai
Yohei Owa.
Oa, I was gonna get there, and Hartley
Oiwa, yeah.
Jackson against
Yeah.
uh Botlin Oleg and Bishaman?
Shaman. So that's
Bishamon.
Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi's like tag team.
Yeah. And also the Bullet Club War Dogs, Tiger Mask, Toki Makabe, and Ryusuke Takagi? Taguchi?
Taguchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team 150, Team 150. Who else is there? Uh, Rough Storm, which is Shota Umino and Yuma Emma. Oh
Uemura.
God, there
Yeah.
we go. Thank you. This is going to be
Yeah.
really bad. This episode, Callum cannot say
No
Japanese
worries.
names. I've made notes
Yeah.
for all the other matches on pronunciation. I didn't think about doing it for this one. There's just too many people in it. And
Yeah.
House of
It was a
Torture.
lot.
Um,
Yeah.
there might be some more people in there. Uh, so the idea is that normally the first match of New Japan, but it's normally on. Sorry, the first match of Wrestle Kingdom, but it's normally on the pre-show. Is like a Rambo, which is a rumble. It's a rumble with slightly different rules. So people come
Yep.
down, and you can either get thrown off the top rope to be eliminated or pinned. This was teams, and there was 8 teams going in, so we knew who the teams were going to be, or like we didn't know all of them, but we knew there was going to be 8 teams, and they were and like the six-man championships were on the line. Now, six-man championships only has 3 people as champion, but it it's 3v3 matches. But I still think calling it a 3-man belt makes more sense than the six-man belt, because the six-man belt's just confusing.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Or they could even just call it trios championship or
yeah.
something to shorten the length. But yeah,
Um, I got a little bit lost in this match, and I think that's to do with like the camera was not paying attention
Mhm.
to the right thing at the right moment. Sometimes people will be
Yeah.
making their entrance, and then people are getting eliminated, or like,
Oh yeah.
um, who was it who got like there was I think there was a point in the match where you saw an elimination, but then they missed the fact that in that
Yeah.
elimination, someone else
Yeah.
also got eliminated.
I think there was a part where there was a wrestler who got eliminated just as one of the teams were making their entrances. That I can vaguely remember. I just
Yeah.
can't remember who it was though. I can't remember which team it was.
Bullet Club went out first, which was weird. Like
Oh
they went
yeah.
out real quick. Like kind of makes sense now because Bullet Club has dissolved on New
Which is
Year's
kind of
Dash.
funny as well because I mean Bullet Club War Dogs being the first to be eliminated is funny because two of the members in that trios are the current IWGP Tag Team Champions today, which are Yuto Ice and Oscar, the Knockout Brothers, who I would say are an amazing tag team to watch. They're really really fun to watch as well. I did find it very. I would have thought they would last. I would have thought they would have lasted longer because the Knockout Brothers are like really really over as well. Um,
Tekla
obviously you've
came
got
out
Yuto Ice.
with with
Yeah,
with
Tekla
Clark
was there as
Connors
well. I
to
mean,
stand there for 5 minutes.
yeah. I mean, the only reason I would say part of the reason she came out was because she and Clark Connors had some history together. Because when New Japan and Stardom ran their second crossover event, I don't remember what year it was. It might have been 2024. Connors and Tekla teamed up to face Natsupoi and I think it was Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who might have been in the trios match as well as part of the House of Torture team, but yeah, there were a lot of wrestlers in there, so I can't remember. But yeah,
I'm
so
pretty
it
sure
kind
there
of
are a
made sense for
couple.
her to be with yeah.
Yeah.
Although I get what you mean, her being just there to being in the corner of the War Dogs and then not really doing much. I think she did provide a distraction, but that's pretty much it. I think yeah,
She pulled one guy out the ring. It's I think what she
yeah.
did, and then hits. Like, but also quite a lot of this match is a little bit of action in the ring, and then everyone else is on the outside, but you don't see any of the outside bit. You just see what's in the ring,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was a bit of a mess. It
Mhm.
got really fun in its last stretch. The last two teams in, which were TMDK and um Oleg and Bishimon, that was
Yeah.
a really fun mini match that they had. They
Mhm.
seem to be really big on Oleg. They're like, someone at New Japan's like, we like that guy. We're gonna eventually push him. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, I agree because I mean it was 2 years ago where Bolton Oleg competed in his first G1 climax, and the guy he defeated to qualify for the G1 climax was actually Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is why Tanahashi missed out on like only one G1 climax in the history of his career. Since I don't remember when's the first time he joined, but he actually missed out on that because they were running like a last chance kind of like qualification thing, and Bolton Oleg, yeah, it's kind of weird to pronounce his name because Bolton is supposed to be his surname and Oleg is his first name. But yeah, so yeah, Bolton actually defeated Tanahashi to qualify, and I could tell that they are very very high on that guy, especially when you consider the fact that he's been brought up and raised in a New Japan system, and so they tend to give their homegrown guys some attention and a bit of a push. So yeah, I could totally see Bolton being a big name in future, and his performance in the Rumble is pretty much like evident of that too.
yeah. Unfortunately, nothing can overpower the power that is Zack Sabre Jr.'s doing technical nonsense out of nowhere. Um, and
Oh yeah.
Oleg, I think he pins Oleg because Oleg goes at him with something, and then Zack Sabre Jr. is like, "Nope, turning it around, I'm pinning you now." And you're like, "How did I get here? What? Where am I? Why is there so many
Mhm.
limbs?" Um,
Yeah.
I love Zack Sabre Jr. to ruddy bits.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool moment as well because Zack Sabre Jr. He because I think he and Ryohei Oiwa was supposed to be competing at New Year Dash for the tag team championship as well, but it's good that even if they didn't win the next day, they at least have their titles as well. And for me, it was pretty cool to see Hartley Jackson with the championship because I mentioned that Chris Weiss, who I watched like 20 years ago at an EPW show, was actually on the card. Hartley Jackson was also on that show, on that EPW show I attended. And he was main eventing against Mikey Nichols, who I think most of you guys may know from from Pro Wrestling Noah, from when he competed in New Japan for a bit, and he also competed. I think he competed in WWE at one point as well. So that was pretty cool to see. It was pretty cool to see Jackson finally make his debut at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom and winning the six-man titles as well. So it was amazing to see. But the thing about that match was I know that a lot of people might think, oh, this is probably just like a throwaway match where they squeeze in as many people, as many wrestlers as they can. But it was really good to see. But honestly, there are some teams in there that you might think could actually win. I mean, bringing up Bolton and Bishamon, they could have actually won that match as well. And I also mentioned I mentioned how the War Dogs also had a good chance of winning because of Yuto Ice and Oscar. I thought that the team of Kaisei Takechi, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura could have actually won because, well, Umino and Uemura, these guys are destined to be like tag champions or trios champion at some point. And then you got Takechi, who's like a big star as well. Not only is he a member of the DDT Pro Wrestling roster, he's also a member of the vocal and dance group, the Rampage from Exile Tribe, who are already big and famous as they are. So it
He
was a
came
really
out to
fun
do his
match.
entrance.
Exactly. And it was cool to see. So
I
yeah,
would not
and
want to do an idol routine before going into wrestle a match. That just too much, thanks. I feel like you're wasting all your energy doing that whole that big dance routine. I'm like, right now I'm out of breath. What do you
yeah.
mean I've got to wrestle a match?
Yeah, I mean he was locking in. Like, I mean, I have tried some choreography from from the LDH Inc. groups as well, from the Exile Tribe groups as well. They're not easy. So the fact that he was able to like start off and dance and then wrestle the match. I mean, it is common in Japan. You would see wrestlers like dancing and for their big entrances. Magnum Tokyo comes to mind. The Cosmic Angels stable in Stardom comes to mind. Heck, even Mina Shirakawa from AEW right now also comes to mind. So yeah, I guess you could also say that them dancing is sort of like a bit of a warm up before they wrestle as well. So yeah, I mean, if it works in their favor, why not?
I'm a
Yeah,
big Shota Umino fan. I love Shota Umino.
likewise,
I
likewise.
give him the belt. Give him all the belts. I love the
Hmm.
guy. He seems
Hmm.
cool.
I mean,
Um,
it's funny that you mentioned that because when I was in Japan last year and I went to this place called I can't remember what the store was, but it was in a department store in Akihabara, and I think it was on the fourth floor where you can find like Bushi Road promotion merchandise, so New Japan merchandise and Stardom merchandise. And there was a TV that was blasting like the entrance videos of the wrestlers, and I kept hearing Shota Umino's theme like over and over again, almost on loop. And I myself am Umino fan. I also think his theme song is amazing, but that was enough to convince me to get a Umino T-shirt as well that day. So yeah,
it worked. The TV
it
advertising
worked
worked. Um,
absolutely.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's there's a lot of energy for your opener. You get a lot of people on the roster, and it kind of shows off the kind of talent you've got in New Japan. And I think if it had just been like production a little bit tighter, and uh, it would have worked a lot better. But yeah, um, I had fun with it. Um,
Yep, likewise.
Next up, we have a winner takes all match for the IWGP Women's Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship between Syuri and Saya. Hold on, I'm making my notes. I can do this one. I've written it down.
Right.
No. Oh God, where's my notes? Saya Katamani? No. Kata,
Kamitani.
there we go. Um,
Yep.
this match was great. This
Mm,
might be
mm,
my favorite match of the card, despite the fact I hated the finish because I think the wrong person won.
mm, mm.
And I
That's
don't know.
that's really
Yeah, I could be really off base because I don't know anything
mhm.
about them coming in. All I know is what I was being told
Okay.
on commentary. And the narrative
Mm,
was that Saya wanted to surpass women's wrestling. She wanted to raise the
mm,
profile and become a New Japan star. She wanted a New Japan contract. She wanted to like outsell New Japan in stardom in the Tokyo Dome. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. She's had a really great year, mostly undefeated. She's really compelling.
mhm,
She has star presence about her. You watch her and you go, there is something about that woman. She's got it. I've never seen her before,
mm,
and now I'm like, oh my god, I want to watch more of her. And the English commentary team were putting her over so much of her storyline for the year, and like how she had been the top woman in Stardom, and I was like, I can't wait to see her win. And then when
mhm.
she lost, I went, oh right,
Yeah.
okay. It was a really good, and they did it a lot to protect her in defeat because she'd only been
Mhm.
cleared 48 hours ago.
Oh
She took
yeah.
a lot of bumps on the head, and
Mm,
like the final move was to do with like the arms that she'd broken in the past.
yeah.
Um, but like narratively, like I was really sold on her by commentary. So when Sayuri won, I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing, I guess. That was my
Mm,
read as someone who doesn't know what's going on. I fucking love this match. It did
yeah.
not feel like
Yeah.
12
It.
minutes.
Oh yeah. I mean, out of all the starter matches that took place at Wrestle Kingdom, I think that was the one that actually went the longest, and I guess deservingly so as well, because you did, like you pointed out, you had Shuri, who came in as the IWGP Women's Champion, and then you have Saya Kamitani, who you know I and this might be a bit of a hot take. I don't just think she's the best women. I don't think she's the best wrestler in Stardom. I think she's the best women's wrestler in the entire planet at this point in time, based on a lot of factors. I mean,
Wow.
as far as her wrestling skills go, she's amazing. Um, and the things that she has been doing to raise the profile of women's wrestling in Japan is, especially in the past year, has been insane. Like, so I was trying to watch like the Fuji TV on the TVer app that I had, which I had to use VPN to access. And the reason for that was because I wanted to see the commercial spot for the show that I was in as well, to see if it got aired there. While that was happening, I stumbled upon this special TV show, this TV special where you had like a bunch of athletes, models, I think some celebrities taking part in like it's a it's one of those elimination style things where they race around a track, and whoever ends up getting last, they will get eliminated, and this goes on and on until like one woman is left. Saya Kamitani was the only wrestler, like the only women's wrestler to be represented on that show as well. And then she had that really epic match against Tam Nakano last year, which featured one of the greatest endings I have ever seen in a wrestling match ever. Um, which was also a retirement match for either one of them if they lost. And then she also did what was very unprecedented by having a women's wrestling match be broadcasted on national TV for the first time in decades as well. So and to top it all, to top off the year, she became the first woman in history to win Tokyo Sports' MVP award, which is like, yes, there is a separate award for the women, but she also won the main award, which was mainly reserved for men, and she ended up winning it. Although, to be fair to her, she was campaigning hard for it. And, you know, and even if there was a little bit of like storyline bribery involved or anything like that, it's hard to deny that she deserved that honor and she deserved that award. So yeah, it was. I will agree that the result did feel a bit off, all things considered, with how, Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton, shout outs to the two of them, were really putting Saya Kamitani over. But I guess, I mean, Shuri herself has had a pretty good year. To her credit, I mean, she did defeat Saray to lift the IWGP Women's Championship and bring it back to in her grasp. And she had what I felt was a blink and you miss it kind of moment when she was part of that Casino Gauntlet at AEW All In last year as well. So I don't know. I feel like she is one of the top stars in Stardom. And I feel like she's destined for other bigger things, being a former World of Stardom champion herself. So I don't know. I mean, I guess in some way it's a good thing for her that she won the Strong Women's Championships, because that means she will also get to travel to the United States or other countries overseas to defend the title. Whereas I don't know if, I mean, I'm not to say that Saya Kamitani is not committed to it or anything, but I think Stardom wants her to focus on whatever happens within the Stardom ring and in Japan itself. So that could also be a factor as to why, yeah.
It was her first defense.
But I'm not sure.
99 days. And I'm like, okay, if it's your first defense, this means you're not really interested in traveling to the rest of the world to defend it, are you?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but that's just my guess. I could be wrong though. Yeah.
I think all the things that you've highlighted about Saya is why I was like, then she's clearly gonna win, right? She sounds incredible. And I think that English commentary didn't do the job for the other person in that match of putting her over to the same level. Because like a lot of it is to do with like Saya's entire presentation. Like you watch her and you go, I believe that you think that you're a Dark Angel, like, or Dark Phoenix. Like she just seems different. And like there's a couple of people on this show who like you watch them and you're like, I fully believe that you believe your character. And that is great. But again, it was an incredible match. If it honestly has made me want to watch Stardom. I'm like, I want to know how you go from that loss. What's the storyline? And I'm like, oh damn, I'm gonna have to start watching Stardom with no commentary. That's gonna be fun.
And and this is the thing I like about Saya Kamitani, because Kamitani turned heel in, I think, mid to late 2024. And before that, when she was a babyface, she was loved by the fans, typical babyface basically. But I think her heel turn back in 2024 may be the best thing to happen to her, because at that time, in terms of storyline, she was going through like a very delusional phase when the faction that she was a part of, Queen's Quest, dissolved after they lost a steel cage match where the losing team had to disband. And rather than the other members of the team being like, oh, it's okay. We'll be like, we'll still be connected anywhere, and in such ways, they basically like abandoned her because she was in that state of delusion, like she is the leader, even though technically she was never the leader of Queen's Quest. Um, but she saw herself as that, and then that image of her like sobbing and crying in tears while holding the Queen's Quest flag was like it was ingrained in my head. And when she turned heel like later on that year and adopted the Dark Phoenix persona and really changed, she went through a drastic makeover, and it really, I wouldn't say it saved her career because her career was very stable at that point, but it really turned her into a major superstar that she is today. So yeah, I'm happy for her. I know that the both of us are in sort of agreement that her losing didn't make sense, but yeah, I don't think her loss diminishes anything that she's, all the work that she's put in to get to where she is today. So she'll be all
And
right.
I'm sure they'll tell a story of, a phoenix is famous for rising again, so she
Yeah,
will rise back
absolutely.
up. Is I
Yeah.
hope, but yeah,
Hmm.
great advert for Stardom, because now I really want to
Hmm.
see where it goes, and
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at it and going, right, how do I use the Stardom website? How do I do?
Hmm.
This is a very bad website. Um, uh, Next up, we have
Hmm.
faction warfare between the United Empire of Callum Newman, Great O'Khan, um, Andrade El Idolo, and Hanare, with their special new member, Jake Lee, who I'd never seen before. But the moment he came out, I'm like, oh, you really are demented. Like, that man looks like he has nothing behind those eyes. And then you watch him wrestle and you go, oh, you're incredible at doing this character. And I really hope it's a character, because I would believe that it wasn't. You just seem a bit broken in the head, friend.
Hmm.
Against
Hmm.
Bullet Club War Dogs of David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Jill Maloney, and the unaffiliated of Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi,
Yeah.
followed by Grado, because we can't have a match
Hmm.
without Grado or Jado coming out.
Yeah.
Um, uh, this sure was a match. But there was
Yeah.
6 men on either team, and about 4 of them wrestled in total.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pretty
Drilla
much.
Maloney, Andrade, H- um, Henrade, ah,
Inare. Yeah.
Henare,
Inare.
and Jake Lee, and a little bit of Takahashi and David Finlay. The rest didn't
Yeah.
need to be there. They weren't doing anything. They were just having a bit of
Yeah.
a brawl on the outside and standing to get people tossed at them. Uh,
Yeah. Exactly.
it was a bit underwhelming. Any match of the Great O'Khan that doesn't use the Great O'Khan a bunch is going to disappoint me. I love the Great
Yeah.
O'Khan. I'm the
Yeah.
one person who does.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, Okan is definitely a character, that's for sure.
Look,
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah.
I love
He
the
is.
character. I love the real life person. He just seems like a
Say,
cool
yeah.
guy. Is he a fun wrestler to
Absolutely.
watch? No. No, he's not. But I don't care. I like him.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I also want to point out what you mentioned about Jake Lee because I mean, I'm fairly familiar with his work in All Japan Pro Wrestling. I've known about him when he went to Noah as well, and he had a faction called Good Looking Guys, which I guess was like Pro Wrestling Noah's contrast to Sanada's Just Five Guys faction in New Japan as well. And and yeah, when Jake Lee jumped over to New Japan and became part of the War Dogs as well, I was curious to see how he would fare with the War Dogs until he got that injury. When he came back from injury and he defected to the United Empire, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think honestly, his presentation when he made his way out to reveal himself to as the fifth man in United Empire's team. I mean, honestly, it could have been anyone, especially after Andrade was revealed to be the fourth man to join the team. I mean, it could have been someone from AEW or anywhere else. But when Jake Lee came out and, his presentation was really, really good with his theme song, with how creepy and how foreboding the atmosphere was when he came out. And then to top it all off, like you see the reactions of all the War Dogs members, especially Gabe Kidd, like freaking out and just throwing a tantrum because that was a huge betrayal. Everything about Jake Lee's presentation that evening was really like top level in my opinion as well. Yeah. And the action was crazy too. Yeah.
He moves in a way where you're like, you're really slow, but like it's just aura farming, and he makes it work. He's like Okada in like the way like he's methodical, and you're like, no, but I believe it. It's not just a guy moving slowly. That's a man who is slowly tearing you apart in his head. And I'm like, this guy's scary. I don't know if he's like, I don't know if anyone's told him that wrestling's not real.
Yeah, I agree. His presence, his aura, it's like, I mean, I would say that New Japan has their fair share of creepy guys with like creepy gimmicks and such, but the way Jake Lee does it, it's so it doesn't seem forced. It looked really natural as well with how he like methodically like break down his opponent as well. I mean, I've seen some of his matches before that, but I feel like this is another evolution to his character as well, and his wrestling style to complement it.
You've got Jake Lee up here, and you've got all of the House of Torture.
Yeah.
Andrade looks good here as well. He was in it for a couple of moments. It's nice to see that Andrade can still wrestle, because sometimes when you get stuck not doing anything for 4 years, you go, are you still as good as you were all that time ago? Oh, you're still great. It's very funny that he is the bankroller for United Empire and also works for Don Callis family. Like, okay, this is two different levels of control. You work for Don Callis, but you're bankrolling United Empire for some reason. They're doing a big push to try and make United Empire happen again. Will Ospreay shows up on New Year's Dash to kind of like tease a Newman match when Ospreay's healthy again. And like because we've lost Bullet Club, Empire, they want to make it happen again. And who knows? Maybe this is the angle that will make it work. I'll tell you what didn't work: the angle at the end of the match where some guy in a mask came out, because like he just appeared and the camera cut to him, and you were like, oh, and who's this? It's Random Man. And I'm like, okay, maybe this means something to people who've watched New Japan, but I was like, this is just a bit of a lame angle.
Well, I mean, the guy under the mask is Francesco Akira, an Italian wrestler who has been a part of United Empire for the past several years. I think, because I myself haven't been really keeping up with a lot of New Japan. I think he might have been out of an injury, I think. So the guy is a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion with TJP, who is no longer part of New Japan and no longer part of United Empire. So, now I think about it, he's basically at this point in time the token Junior Heavyweight member in United Empire, because Kallum Newman and because Kallum Newman has already like graduated to becoming a heavyweight now, and there isn't a junior heavyweight member of the stable, and so I think Francesco Akira is there to sort of like fill that gap, especially with TJP no longer being a part of it. But yeah,
to be fair, he did get a pop Now,
Yeah,
Japanese audiences are very different to how I watch wrestling. There are a lot of
yeah,
clapping. They're not as vocal, and it was weird sometimes during watching this, going, "But where's the crowd?" They kind of just seem a bit,
yeah.
but it's just them being polite and like
Hmm.
that's how they watch wrestling, especially after the
Yeah.
pandemic. Like the pandemic,
Hmm.
when they came back in New Japan, there was no cheering. There was only
Yeah.
clapping, and it's kind of
Yeah.
in a way, affected the way that they react in general to wrestling.
Hmm.
But when
Yeah.
he revealed that mask, I heard a pop and I was like, okay, I guess the fans like him. Uh, I,
Yeah.
I, I don't know why they've been quiet at other points during this show, but and
Hmm.
they really like El Phantasmo. They like they like chanting
Yeah. ELP.
LP,
Yeah.
LEP, yeah, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. I So Callum Newman was on the British scene during like basically WWE destroyed the British scene when they started NXT
Yeah.
UK and it annihilated the scene,
Hmm.
but there was still some indies going,
Yeah.
and Callum Newman is part of that like small period where British wrestling's buggered and Callum Newman's coming up in it, and he went off to New
Yeah.
Japan, went through the Young Lion system, and now he's Will Ospreay Junior. Uh,
Hmm.
and I'm sure at some point it'll work. Right now, as much as I like him, he has a similar name to mine. Uh,
Yeah.
he's not quite Osprey, uh, and that's fine. Not everyone can be, but then don't just
Mm.
spend half the match trying to do his moves.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's probably my only criticism of Callum Newman because I know the guy has a lot of potential to be a big star as well, considering how like okay, Osprey is gone, Jeff Cobb is already in WWE as well. TJP is oft in I don't know, GLEAT, I think, in the Japanese independent scene doing his thing over there. So it's like and well, let's be fair. Even though Great Okan was a founding member of the United Empire, I can't see him leading the faction.
he's
He's
been
not a guy who
robbed.
I could see
He's
being.
been robbed of leadership.
Yeah,
Great Okan would be a
yeah.
great leader.
I mean, he will be a great leader for sure, but I don't know. I mean, he seems to be the guy who could be. I could totally see him like an Arn Anderson enforcer role, like anything happens, he's gonna be there to like protect the leader or something. But no, he could actually be a good leader, like you point out as well. I just don't know how that's gonna work, but
Yeah,
I mean, it could, it could work. But yeah, there
they're
doesn't seem to
definitely
be any sort of. Mhm.
definitely trying
And it's
with
kind of
United Empire.
crazy. Yeah, I'm. I mean, I'm also excited to see where they take United Empire as well, because if Callum Newman is going to be the guy in charge, I really want to see how he, steps up after like Osprey was gone and after TJP. TJP also tried to become the leader. Like he forced himself to want to be a leader, and there was a major rift in the faction because like Great Okan himself said that he doesn't deserve to be a leader unless he proves himself that he's fit enough and that he's deserving enough of leading United Empire. And well, that kind of fell apart. So I am interested to see if Callum Newman could actually be the guy to steer the ship, so to speak, or if you know the more senior members, being Great Okan and Hanare, has anything to say about it as well.
Um, I forgot to mention the highlight of the match was Hiromu Takahashi and David Finlay using each other as a weapon. Because they don't like
Mm.
each other and they use each other as a weapon, and
Yeah,
it was the highlight of the match. For
yeah,
when Great Okan wasn't in the ring, it was the real highlight of the match was Great Okan. But if we'll talk about everyone else, then I guess it's David Finlay and Hiromu, and yeah, yeah.
mm.
I will say David
Yeah.
Finlay's entrance minigun is stupid.
It's campy, but it works, I guess. Yeah.
It works if he remembers the timing of it.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, he
Oh
doesn't.
yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. That was one of the highlights of the matches. Seeing David Finlay and Hiromu Takahashi like working together unwillingly. Whereas Driller Maloney and Shingo Takagi worked really well together. And I think that was one of the fun things about the World Tag League last year as well, because when the unaffiliated and the War Dogs came together, they decided, okay, let's have some very interesting pairings during the World Tag League. And those two pairings were like, they couldn't be any more contrasting to one another. Like Takagi and Maloney worked so well together. Like the chemistry is like was really, really good. And then on the other side, you have Finlay and Takahashi who are like very hesitant to work together. I almost forgot that they were partners, like watching some of the highlights online on social media. I almost forgot that they were actually partners because they were like bickering with each other and such. So it was fun to see. But yeah, considering everything that's going on with the War Dogs and United Empire now, I'm very intrigued to see where this is leading up to. Maybe, I don't know, a dog pound cage match in future. I don't know. That could be a possibility.
We've got a new
Yeah.
faction because Bullet Club has dissolved, and the remaining members of
Yeah.
War Dogs have merged with Los.
Well,
Yeah,
Los Ingobernables. Yeah.
that
The
one,
remnants of it, I
that
guess.
really easy
Yeah.
faction to call themselves. Like that's the easiest thing in the world to say. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
become a new faction whose name I currently don't know. That
I
happened
think it
in
was
New Year's Dash.
Unbound Co or something. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We're probably leading to some faction stuff. Yeah. Next up, we have the four-way match to determine the number one contender for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. This was El Desperado against Taiji Samori, Sho, and Kosei Fuja, I think is roughly.
Yeah.
Right?
Kosei Fujita.
There we
Yeah.
go. This was pretty fun. If you don't like Sho, you get to watch Sho eat dirt.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that was a really fun match to watch. I mean, I feel like over the years, especially in Wrestle Kingdom, we see a lot of like multi-man matches involving the junior heavyweights. Like I remembered, I will never forget Wrestle Kingdom 7 when Prince Devitt, Loki, and Kota Ibushi had that show-stealing match at Wrestle Kingdom 7 for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. I mean, it was a great match, but I feel like the only thing people remember about that match was Loki literally cosplaying Agent 47 from the Hitman series, and pretty much getting fired right after that match for that. I remembered like the rest. I think it was Wrestle Kingdom 12, the one that you also brought up as well, because that was a really fun four-way match against, which I think pitted like Will Ospreay, Kushida, Hiromu Takahashi, and I don't know if I should bring him up. Right, all things considered, Monty Scurll as well in that match.
I
That was
remember
another
that
great
match.
Yeah.
I've seen that match.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Mhm.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
terrible human being, but was at the time pretty over in the wrestling world. And yeah,
I agree.
That match
That was a great match. Yeah.
It's a good match.
Mm.
This was
Yeah.
not the best match on any card. It was more of a match
Yeah.
to get to the end point, which is El Desperado being the first contender for Doki's belt. I had to check my notes.
Yeah.
Also, I did some research. Do you know that El Desperado has held the Junior Heavyweight Championship 5 times since 2021? He has both won and lost it 5 times during the last 5 years. That's insane.
Yeah.
I then started to look through the history of the belt and realized that's just the thing about this belt. People win and lose it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of I know there have been some IWGP Junior Heavyweight champions in the past who have won the title like 5 times. I guess at the top of my head, I can think of Jushin Thunder Liger and Koji Kanemoto
6.
as 2 names. I'm 6 of them. Oh yeah, 6. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
And
Hiromu Takahashi is one of them too.
yeah. It seems to
yeah,
kind of
'cause-
it gets into like periods where it changes between 3 people and you're like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Um
Mhm.
yeah. But
Yeah,
like,
this was a very interesting match as well. Because I don't know. I mean, like a part of me actually did wish Doki would have defended his title on the card as well. I mean, it felt weird that the Junior Heavyweight Championship was not defended, and instead it's like, I mean, it's like the biggest stage of the year. You would have wanted to defend your title. Instead, you're like, I'm gonna take a backseat and let Show handle everything and prevent any of the guys, like prevent Fujita, Ishimori, and especially Desperado, coming after my title. I mean, the storyline and angle there was actually genius. It did feel weird that the top Junior Heavyweight Championship was not defended on Wrestle Kingdom. So,
it
but
got a
it
lot
turned
of
out to
good
be a fun
heat.
match.
Like, Show
Yeah.
got a lot of good heat, and eventually the rest of the House of the House of Torture came out to bugger up the match, and Robbie, and whoever El Desperado's tag team partner is came out
Yeah.
to prevent
Yeah, Kukai, I
the
think his name. I
interference.
can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of in a way it harkened back to like TLC2 from WrestleMania 17, where like you had like Lita and Rhino and Spike Dudley coming in to help out their friends, their tag teams as well. So I kind of like that, and it also gave Robbie Eagles, Robbie X, and Kukai something to do since they weren't on the card, and they are all like closely aligned with each wrestler that was competing in that match. Obviously, Sho also had Yoshinobu Kanemaru helping him out. Even though Doki didn't really do much because he was doing all he can to antagonize El Desperado and everybody. I will say that the results, I mean, I get why El Desperado won the match because they wanted to further the storyline and angle and his feud with Doki. I personally would have preferred Fujita winning because Fujita has proven to be like the next big junior heavyweight star in New Japan, especially after he won the Best of the Super Juniors tournament last year. And people are touting him to be the next guy, like the future of the junior heavyweight division. So I would have wanted him to win, but I totally understand why Desperado ended up winning. So
I think it sets up
just a matter.
it sets up like both him and Ishimori to be the next challengers. So like you're like, here are your next 3 challenges for the belt. In
Yeah.
quite a good way. I think the best moment of the match was when I think it's Ishimori has Show in a hold, and the other 2 come to stop him from tapping out by grabbing his hand and covering his mouth.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That
Yeah,
was a fun
pretty
one. That was a
pretty
fun
pretty
spot too.
pretty good spot. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. I'll tell you what else was missing from this card before we move on to the last 3 matches. No tag team match. There was no tag team titles match on the card because the
Yeah.
actual champions were in
Yeah.
the first match. So I just feel like that's because like I remember every Wrestle Kingdom I've watched, mostly the Guerrillas of Destiny were challenging for the tag team belts or had them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess
Or
now
Bishamon. It's like either one of those
Yeah.
2 teams. Yeah.
Show and Yo or
Hmm.
Evil and Sanada, like the big
Sanada,
tag
yeah.
teams that have all split off into weird places now. I'm like, oh, all the tag teams I knew in New
Yeah.
Japan are gone. Where am I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that was what I found weird when like I'll notice like why aren't the IWGP tag team titles being defended or the junior heavyweight tag team titles being defended, and like why on earth is like the junior heavyweight championship not being defended? And then I realized that okay, so Yuto Eyes and Oscar are not defending their titles because they're part of the never open weight 6-man tag team Rumble at the beginning. So it was it felt weird, but I mean, it kind of made a bit of sense to like squeeze everyone into the card as much as they can. But
They had to
yeah, I mean, the
squeeze
card was great, but yeah,
because Tanahashi needed an hour to say goodbye, and he deserves
well,
an
that
hour.
too, that too, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the debuting Alan Wolf, former Olympic gold medalist in judo, who is now a professional wrestler for New Japan, versus Tony Khan's favorite wrestler, Evil. Um, uh, yeah.
Mhm.
This was interesting.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah.
so Aaron Wolf comes out, and before the match, Evil says, "If you don't win, I'm going to make you shave your hair and your beard and make you like a young lion." So then Aaron Wolf comes out already pre-young Wolf to make a point, which was cool. Though I do think he looks cooler with the long hair and beard. Um,
Mm.
and this is his debut match. Obviously, he's trained. Obviously, Olympic level athlete. But commentary was making a
Yeah.
really good point that like he's used to doing 4-minute matches at best. Like a judo match is quite
Yeah.
quick. Um,
Mhm.
so this is quite a big stage, and he's going for the Never Openweight Championship, which is
Yeah.
like I found out about this. So the Never belts were originally meant to be developmental belts for a developmental company that New Japan was
Yeah.
trying to set
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I didn't realize that until I'd done the research. I was like, oh, this is quite a big match to put someone in as their first match. It's a championship match. That's
Mm.
massive. Um,
Yeah.
but the man, he knows how to sell. Aaron Wolf's a really good seller.
Mhm.
Like, I don't.
Mm. Yeah.
I was really impressed by his ability to sell. Because I was like, what the one thing that you wouldn't get as an athlete going to wrestling is the selling, because it's the whole bit of the
Yeah.
match, and the story in this match is really
Mm.
solid. Like, it's he's getting
Yeah.
screwed over by the House of Torture.
House of
Evil's
Torture.
being really
Yeah.
cocky, and like the test is, can Aaron Wolf go for as long as it needs to go to win a match? And they underestimate his like his stamina and his fortitude.
Yeah.
Uh, and pretty star-making performance. Like in Japan, he's already a big
Mhm.
star, so like there's already a big fandom around his existence. I think internationally, I've heard quite a lot of chat about this match going, "We love Aaron Wolf, bring us more Aaron Wolf." And I think New Japan have the chance to make a
Yeah.
new top star. He's he's
Yeah.
I think it's one of his parents is American, so if his English is good as well,
Yes.
he will be
Mhm.
potentially New Japan's next big international star, because if he can do both languages, it just makes his life so
Yeah.
much easier for
Yeah.
like international promotion. I had fun with it.
Actually, yeah. I don't think I've ever heard Aaron Wolf speak English, because I remember he was being interviewed by, oh my gosh, I think it was Lyric from Sports Illustrated. He didn't speak English. Actually, he got Chris Charlton to translate for him as well, which is
Oh,
interesting. I mean,
interesting.
yeah,
I
it
thought
seems
he
like
might be able to,
it seems like
because yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. So I was surprised that he was mostly speaking Japanese, but I don't know. Maybe it's one of those cases where he may be of mixed parentage, but because he was born, raised, and grew up in Japan, he didn't need to like really learn the language per se. Although, now that like you mentioned, now that he's a big star already, I mean, Olympic gold medalist is one thing, and now you're competing on like in the biggest promotion in Japan as well. With the possibility of going overseas and doing PR and all of that as well. I'm pretty sure he's gonna like, well, whatever English he probably knows, he's probably like going to like really lock in as well and learn it up.
Chris, come over
But
here. I
yeah,
need to practice.
yeah. Yeah, but I agree with you. I mean, it was a star-making performance. It's one thing for him to be really good at selling for in only his first match and in front of like the biggest crowd in Wrestle Kingdom history. It's another to be for him to be taking the bumps he was taking. Like already his first match, and he took a table bump from Don Fale. So and yeah, but kudos also to Evil. I mean, I know there have been rumblings of Evil potentially leaving New Japan if he doesn't sign his contract by the end of the month or early next month as well. Because yeah, around this time, this is like contract season for New Japan. Whether wrestlers are gonna continue extending their contract or whether they're going to walk away from New Japan and go elsewhere.
If I had
If they lose
one
Evil
piece of
though,
advice,
yeah,
if I had one piece of advice for New
mhm,
Japan, move
yeah,
your contract period at least 2 months. Move it into March,
exactly,
because everyone
yeah,
in January will go, well,
mhm,
WWE can sign me for the Rumble, and they'll do it, and
exactly,
you'll lose them. You've got
yeah,
to stop doing it. You've got to move it to March, so
exactly.
that no one, because then in March people go, well, there's not really anything else for me to do. No one's really in demand for new stars. I'll stick around,
Mhm,
and you'll have a much
I
better time.
agree. I agree. I mean, and losing Evil. I know that there are fans out there who can't stand the guy, but here's the thing about Evil. I think if you put him in any sort of position, especially in a match where you're supposed to help, he's supposed to help put a babyface over. He would do it. Like he's the perfect guy for it. Like even last year when he was Tanahashi's like second to last Wrestle Kingdom opponent. It could have been anyone. He could have gone up against, I don't know, someone from AEW or CMLL or someone. Instead he went up against, he booked himself against Evil. And then Evil became the guy to, you know, be Aaron Wolf's debut opponent. And that's when you start to realize he fits a very good, he plays a very good role in elevating a babyface to like really high levels because he's detestable in a very good way. Like even he has his own set of fans. He's also, I feel like he kind of reminds me of Great Okan in a way where he is, yeah, he's evil and all that, but he's also obnoxiously hilarious as well. Like I'll never forget, um I know that was a show that happened a few months about a month or so ago, and the show was over, but the fans were still like chanting, they were clapping their hands and all. Then Evil came out and he said, "Hey, show's over now. Get the fuck out of Kurako and all." Like it
The
would be a
thing
major
is,
loss to lose this guy. Yeah.
you're completely right, and I can't defend
Hmm.
Evil over Great Okan. However, I am
Okay.
part of the Tony Khan hates Evil crowd. I cannot
Yeah.
stand him. I've never understood what New
Hmm.
Japan saw him in, and like in specifically Evil. Like I remember because I was watching
Mm.
back when like Sonada and Evil were breaking up as a tag team, and they were like, Evil's our
Yeah.
star. You're like, no, what are you doing? It's Sonata. It's surely Sonata. He's the better guy. What are you doing? No, don't pick Evil.
Yeah.
Pick Sonata. And but they seem
Hmm.
to both be going. They seem to
Yeah. I
both be
mean,
going from New Japan. So
yeah.
it, there's a world where they both end up in
I mean,
WWE.
it was, yeah. I will. Mhm. I mean, I will agree that Evil winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and Intercontinental Championship from Tetsuya Naito was premature, all things considered, because it's not that Evil can't do singles matches. He has proven he can do singles matches against top level guys, but even watching that, I couldn't buy him as a top guy. He's like he's like probably yeah, he's the guy who could definitely like be the foil to a lot of baby faces, but not top guy material. And it really showed because not long after he won the two titles, Naito would win those titles back again. Um in and yeah, and then Evil's now back to like where he is right now. But I do think
He's
that he would be a good helping hand for a lot of baby faces as well.
he's Baron Corbin, a guy who's a perfectly serviceable rubbish heel. Unfortunately, someone in the back went, "We're pushing him to the top, and we're gonna make everyone
Yeah.
know it." I was like, "Okay, we'll
Yeah,
call you
I mean,
back when you stop
mean
pushing
that's
him."
I I never thought that would be a good comparison because you know Evil wrestled an Olympic gold medalist in his first match, whereas Baron Corbin wrestled an Olympic gold medalist in his last match. So so yeah,
It's
the
a
distinction
perfect
is there
parallel.
too. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I
yeah,
didn't realize that until you pointed it out, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Evil is kind of like the Baron Corbin of New Japan in a sense that he is the obnoxious, annoying heel who you know you put him up against any baby face and he will do everything in his power to elevate them. And that's exactly what we saw with Aaron Wolf. Like
yeah,
I do think, I mean, in his first match, he's already impressed me. Like I knew that he was going to be impressive in his first match. Even his presentation being like, you know what? If it means starting from the bottom and being all young lion, you know, black trunks, black boots, black knee pads, shave my head and have a crew cut hairstyle or whatnot, you know, he's committed to the craft. That goes to show how committed he is, and how much he's willing to like start from the very bottom up until where he would potentially be in the next few years. I mean, granted, his first match was for a championship, and that might overrule everything. But then again, you know, stranger things have happened. Like Shinsuke Nakamura became IWGP Heavyweight Champion just about a year after he debuted, and so I think Aaron Wolf could have a very similar like he could have a
trajectory.
very
Yeah,
similar journey, yeah, trajectory, and if he ends up winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship within the next year or so, it wouldn't surprise me, and I'd be happy for the guy. But
I
it's gonna
hope
be
that
interesting to see how
yeah,
the next few years.
he looked a
Mhm.
little bit exhausted after the match. You could see that, like he was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, that was a lot," but still, it was still
Yeah.
impressive for the guy's first match. And like, I hope that
Mhm.
he stays strong and he learns because like he has the potential. You can see it. It's just about making sure it gets to the place it needs to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and like you said as well, he gets it. He gets it.
yeah.
So
He-
I totally could see. I know I could see big things in Aaron Wolf's career as a pro wrestler. I just want to. I also want to see like how far they're gonna take him. So it's very intriguing to see like what they're gonna do with him as well.
And to further the parallel between Baron Corbin, Aaron Wolf is Japanese Kurt Angle. So next, they just need to give him a milk cannon, and he'll be over.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, that could also work. Yeah. Or well, you know, instead of like a milk cannon, maybe a strong zero cannon or something like that. But I don't know whether Aaron Wolf drinks or not. So yeah.
Um, yeah.
We'll see.
Um, so
Yeah.
we get to our semi-main event. Basically, if Tanahashi wasn't retiring, this should have been the main event. Um,
Yeah.
Yota Tsuji and versus Konosuke Takeshita. This is also a winners take all match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and the IGP Global Heavyweight Championship. So the globe and the world are different things. One
Yeah.
is the world, and the other is the globe of the world. But not.
Mm.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yota's here to merge the belts because it was silly
Yeah.
that they had them in the first place. And
Hmm.
hopefully they stay together. Take notes, Tony Khan, that when you merge a belt, they should probably stay merged and don't split them up again immediately
Mm.
afterwards. Um,
Exactly. Yeah. The whole unified championship thing didn't make sense to me either. Like if you're gonna split it up as well eventually down the road. So I totally get that.
um,
Yeah.
This was bloody good.
Mhm.
This
Oh
was.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I have never seen Yota Tsuji before, and he's bloody great. I think
Mm.
this match works from what I saw because Konosuke Takeshita is like complementing him really well. So I don't know what his style looks like outside of a match with Takeshita because Takeshita is the perfect wrestler. Like you
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
clone him and make an entire promotion of just Takeshita in different hats, and it would be the greatest thing you'd ever seen. Um,
Yeah.
but and again, this is another match where commentary made you believe in the story because the story is Japan, New Japan for Japan, and focusing in on Japan versus Takeshita, who is all about being all over the world and working everywhere. And that's the diametrically opposed visions of the future of New Japan. Yota's like, where have you
Yeah.
been? You've been off in AEW performing all year, but you're not on the road performing for all the towns in Japan we perform at. I'm here to make you
Mm.
lose that belt and represent New Japan as a Japanese promotion, not as a promotion for the rest of the world to go and steal all our talent. And Takeshita's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but I'm the best wrestler in the world, so I should wrestle in the world. That's my job.
Mm. Mhm.
I'm great. And also, I bring fans to New Japan because I'm so good elsewhere. Um,
Yeah.
and that's compelling.
Yeah, I
It's a
agree.
bloody compelling
I
story.
agree. I mean, I agree. I over the past few years when you see like these feuds or matches happen because of different ideologies as well. Refer back to like Tanahashi and Omega's match at Wrestle Kingdom 13 as a great example as well. It works really well because sure, these two guys may not have a blood feud against each other. They may not hate each other, but when you have two different ideologies clashing, it actually makes for a compelling story because then you see, okay, each of these guys have a purpose as to why they are gunning for a championship as well. Like, Konosuke Takeshita, I think he's probably the first triple contracted wrestler that I could think of. Being signed with three companies and wrestling in three companies as well, like flying back and forth between Japan and the US. Um, and wanting to be known as the best wrestler in the world, which arguably he is absolutely like one of the best wrestlers in the world today. And then so here's the thing about Yota Tsuji. He is I know people look at him as the ace of New Japan now because he is the champion as well at the moment. But he's a very interesting kind of he doesn't fit the mold of who an ace or what an ace looks like as well. Because when you think about ace, you think of guys like, you think of guys like Tanahashi, who's like, the guy who is the hero, the main character of a story where he would go around being the typical baby face, going around, meeting fans, kissing babies, that kind of thing. And Suji is like the complete opposite of that. So, but at the same time, he has a lot of things going for him. He's got the size. He's a pretty tall dude. He's got the power. Being a former I think he was a former linebacker, as in like when they play American football in Japan or something like that. So he's got that going for him. And yeah, he's a pretty darn good wrestler in the ring, especially when you put him up against the right opponent as well. And I'm so glad that Takeshita was that guy for him, especially for a big match like this.
It had the big match feel. It started slow and like it was all head games. They were playing head games with each other and a lot of like trying to get into each other's heads. And then uh Yota slaps Takeshita at one point, and then it starts, and then it kicks up another gear, and then it kicks up another gear. You're like,
Yeah.
this is what Takeshita does in his matches is he finds another level to go to. The last half, like the last quarter of this match, where they are hitting, they are like doing these really intense sequences of like move into reversal into move. Oh, it's just like, what is this? Is oh, oh, give me more, give me more.
Yeah.
I'll take it all, please. And
Yeah.
yeah, I the right person won. It
Mhm.
Takeshita shouldn't have had that belt because he's not in New
Yeah.
Japan. And
I
they
agree.
built a new star who is not the traditional ace, but he's probably the ace that New Japan needs in Japan right now.
Yes, I agree.
And like that, I think is really what's gonna sell him on like moving forward. And yeah,
Mm.
I if this
Yep.
wasn't the the pay-per-view where Hiroshi Tanahashi was retiring, this should have maybe got an extra few minutes, but it was fantastic
Yep.
and a
Yeah.
worthy main event on any show. And
Mhm.
any Wrestle
Mm.
Kingdom of any other year would have been the perfect main event. Maybe last year. Maybe go back in
I agree.
time and put this as the main event last year. Maybe, I don't know,
Mm. Mm.
Yota versus Zack Sabre Jr. or Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kinosuke
Yeah.
Takeshita instead of Ricochet. As
Mhm.
much as I love Rick,
Yeah.
but not for
Yeah.
not for the Tokyo Dome main event, please. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of the
I I
actual
I
main
I
event,
honestly have to agree. Yeah.
we've got
Yeah.
Konosuke Takeshita. Kazuchika Okada versus Hiroshi
Mm.
Tanahashi in Tanahashi's last match.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting year for Tanahashi. The man is clearly struggling to move because he's been doing this
Yeah.
too long and he's very tired. However,
Mm.
he must have been storing some batteries or ate someone backstage before this match because for the 30 minutes this match went on, he was there. The ace of New Japan was reborn and he had just enough energy to get through a very well-told match with Okada. A lot of this
Yeah.
match in terms of like politics is really interesting in terms of wrestling. Who the opponent should have been
Mm.
and how we got to it, and also the stars that came out afterwards and the order they came in and
Yeah.
who came out by themselves. All lots of
Yeah.
politics. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
I don't think anyone else would have been able to put on a match this good as Okada does, because Okada is a master at pacing a match. And some American fans think he's boring, and they're all morons who don't understand a good wrestling match if it hit them in the face.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. How the- how can you hate on Okada? I mean, okay, I get that he's like when people think of Japanese wrestling, especially like in the last few years, his name gets brought up often. But I mean, I was around for the Rainmaker shock where he defeated Tanahashi like not long after he came back to New Japan from his disastrous excursion to TNA. So like, you know, obviously New Japan made a huge gamble putting the title on him so soon. But because of how he is, how well presented he is, and how he looks as well, and how he wrestles, you know, I get that. Yeah, and he does take risks, but maybe not as risky as Tanahashi would do. Which is why Tanahashi was so broken down, even though he was able to put on a really, really strong match as well. But yeah, I wouldn't I can't fathom anyone having anything bad to say about Okada. It's maybe people think that he's
It's just American
overrated. I
fans
don't
don't
know,
get it.
but
They just don't get it. They just don't get
yeah,
magic. They don't get perfection. They just don't
exactly,
understand that
exactly.
like he wrestles in a way that is so like so methodical, and he's slow, and like he
Mhm.
doesn't really put much effort in. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he'll hit 4 moves and win the match. But that's his whole thing, and he's
Yeah.
fucking great at it. I
Yes.
saw him.
Yes.
I've seen him live twice now. I've seen Okada live twice.
Mhm.
I never thought I'd get to see him live, and then he joined AEW and came to the UK, and I saw him twice. And he I I can watch Okada wrestle thin air, and I would lap it up. And in this match, he's not wrestling thin air. He's wrestling the ace of New Japan in his final match, and the crowd are there for all of it. They deeply believe in it. They're
Yeah.
also used to slower technical wrestling. And the rest holds
Mhm.
aren't just rest holds. They are a they are Okada getting into Tanahashi's head. And like
Yeah.
this match, this match is very much, does Tanahashi believe he can do it? And for most of
Yeah.
the match, he thinks he might. There's moments where he's like, I've got it in the bag. And Okada kicks out and he's like, how do I beat this guy? And there's like the
Yeah.
crowd are cheering him on, and Okada's like, "Go on, cheer him. I want you to see him die. I want you all to lift him up so that I could destroy him with respect."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Um,
That's the thing I love about Okada. Like, he can be a very obnoxious heel as well. Like, and you could tell he's having a lot of fun as well with what he does, and the character he plays too. So it was just enjoyable watching him do whatever he's doing as well. So in that match, and the one of the things that really stood out for me, and this felt like a deja vu moment. So going back to Saya Kamitani's match with Tam Nakano last year, Kamitani defeated Tam Nakano with her own finishing move, which was I think it was the Twilight Dream, I think. And the referee Daichi Murayama, he made the count, like he counted 1 and 2, and there was a little bit of hesitation, like he didn't want to make the third count because he knew that that was how the match is going to end. And he then counted to 3 and the match was over. When I watched that for the first time, I wasn't entirely like sure like whether he didn't know that that was the finish or anything like that. But when Stardom uploaded when Stardom uploaded the same match in full, but at a different camera angle, that's when I finally realized what was going on, because he was hesitant to make that final count, and once he did, he stepped back, sat on the bottom rope, and started crying because Tam Nakano is well loved among a lot of everyone in Stardom as well, and the fact that she would retire like right after that, it was a very emotional moment. And I say that because when Okada landed that final Rainmaker on Tanahashi and he made the cover, I think Richius Uno was the referee, I think. And he shouted out to Tanahashi to kick out, I think, just before he made the count. Like, it's like almost as if he's saying, come on, Tanahashi, I know you could kick out of this. You have a bit of life in you. And when Tanahashi didn't respond, he just made the count as well. And that was a very good story that was told there as well. And it's like, the referee is seen as the third guy in the ring, but when you put him in a position where emotions are running high and they are able to, they can inject themselves into that story and make the match even more memorable and even more emotional. So I thought that was a really, really fantastic way for the match to end, the way it did as well.
and he was fantastic throughout. The referee was great. Like he was very much more of a character
Mm.
than usual. Like I think a good ref can become like is yeah, a ref can sell a match in a way that you don't quite realize they are doing. Um this guy was actually
Yeah.
more active than normal. Like at the very start of the match, he's hearing the crowd and going, "Ooh, who's gonna be who's being louder? It's definitely for Tanahashi." And but like
Yeah.
and throughout he was like willing Tanahashi on because he wanted to see the Ace of New Japan win his final match. We don't want Okada to win.
Mm,
We know he's going to, but we don't want him to win. There's the hope that Tanahashi will finally win. And like again, the politics kind of bleed in where you're like, well, we know that he wasn't the first choice of opponent, and we know that he works for AEW. So it's actually very weird for him to defeat Okada here. So it's very different. It's very weird for Okada to win here and beat Tanahashi. But ultimately,
yeah.
he it was the perfect final match for him. Like
Mhm,
it played to his strengths, and Okada sold it in a way that I don't think
yeah.
like okay, in the world where Shinsuke Nakamura gets out of his WWE contract and gets to do this match, it's not as good.
Yeah.
I love Shinsuke
Mm,
from 5 years from 15
mhm,
years ago. I love Shinsuke a lot.
yeah.
He's my favorite guy. Him winning the
Mm,
Royal Rumble and then losing at WrestleMania destroyed me. Um,
mm,
but I love the
mm,
guy, even though he's not been able to put on a good match in about 10 years. But even if he showed up, I'd have been really up for it and I would have enjoyed it. But I don't think it would be
yeah.
anywhere near this quality of match. The other one is Naito. And Naito isn't in New Japan right now for lots of complicated politics reasons. Um, Not real
Yeah.
politics, wrestling politics, which is very different in well,
Yeah, it's just
it
that I was
actually,
just
but
thinking to myself, yeah. Like, I was just thinking to myself, Naito just went down to Singapore and beat two of my friends to become their promotions champion. So yeah, I get what you mean as well. Yeah. I mean, yeah, those are good those are valid points as well. I mean, with Nakamura, with Shinsuke Nakamura, it can go very it can go both ways because um the matches that the rivalry he had with Tanahashi was, I mean, arguably I actually prefer the Tanahashi Nakamura rivalry over the Tanahashi Okada rivalry just because I grew up watching these two guys battle it out from the first time the media labeled them as two out of the three new musketeers, and there was this animosity between Tanahashi and Nakamura in terms of like who is going to be the top guy and who's going to be leading New Japan as well at one point. So and Walker Stewart brought it up in a very very good way when he was doing that retrospective on Tanahashi's career, where the first time they met in the singles match in the main event of a January 4th Tokyo Dome show, Nakamura put his hand out to shake Tanahashi's hand, and Tanahashi refused it. But 10 years later, when they would wrestle for what I don't think any of us would have known would have been the last time they wrestled, Nakamura did the same thing, and Tanahashi took his hand and shook it. So, but that last match they had was so incredible. The G1 Climax Finals in 2015. Amazing, amazing match. At one point, I thought it was the greatest match of all time that I've seen. Um, and yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. I wouldn't say that Nakamura's broken down, but if he comes back for Tanahashi's last match, could they actually recreate that same magic in Sumo Hall like they did over 10 years ago? Or would
they
that not happen? Because
they
I
yeah,
don't know how motivated Nakamura would have been if he was Tanahashi's
I
final
bet
opponent.
he'd have been super
Hmm.
motivated for the first time in 10 years. But like
Probably. Yeah.
he, and I would have loved I would have loved for him not to be in WWE anymore for lots of reasons.
Hmm.
But like
Yeah.
they're not the men they were. That's for both of them.
Hmm.
And like
Yeah.
Shinsuke, even if he is still good, which I think he could be, hasn't had the chance to put on a match this of that quality. Where like Okada is
Yeah.
big match Okada. This is his entire job
Yeah.
is putting on these big matches. So he's an expert at doing
Yeah.
it. Whereas Naito, I think
Yeah.
also would have been a very good match. I just think that Okada was like the perfect wrestler for this match.
I
He
agree.
is
And
he
Naito already had his moment when he retired Keiji Muto a few years ago. So I don't think it would make sense for him to be like, I retired Muto. Now I'm gonna retire Tanahashi. And what's next? He's gonna retire Umino in like 10 years down the road or something. So yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, Okada's like the perfect guy. I had some time to sit down and reflect on it. And that's when I realized, yeah, you know what? They went with the right choice because Okada can still go. He is very consistent in putting on great matches against just about anyone he goes in the ring with. And he's very well seasoned and well conditioned as well because of that. So yeah, so if you put him in a match against Tanahashi in what would be Tanahashi's last match, he can deliver because he's already used to wrestling a very high stakes, big match kind of like bout as well. So and both Okada and Tanahashi have very, very strong chemistry together. So yeah, obviously there were a lot of politics. Obviously there are a lot of like what ifs and who could have been Tanahashi's final opponent. But I think, regardless, the answer was very clear. It was Okada.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was Okada as well.
Yeah. And then we get to the real main event, which was the 50, like the hour of goodbyes afterwards, where
Mm-hmm.
everyone comes down. Well, no, not everyone. A weird group of people come down. So you've got Jay White, Will Ospreay,
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, and the other half of the Golden Lovers, which
Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi, whose name
Ibushi.
he's just disappeared.
Kota Ibushi.
I've forgotten who
yeah.
he is because he's injured very badly, and I just wish him well.
Yeah.
I want the Golden Lovers back, please.
Likewise.
Thank you, Father
Likewise.
Christmas. And they all came down. Some Japanese legends came down. I couldn't tell you the names off the top of my head. And they all...
Keiji Muto was the first one. He was the bald guy, and then Tatsumi Fujinami after that as well.
So they all had a lovely
I just remembered. They're also I just remembered they're WWE Hall of Famers as well. Both of them. Yeah. It just crossed
I bet
my mind.
WWE don't know that.
Yeah, they probably didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
They all take pictures and say goodbye. And then when they all leave, then Naito pulls the biggest political move of the entire night and goes, I am coming out by myself to my theme music, and I'm bringing my championships from the Revival Company.
Mm-hmm. And he's also gonna take his own sweet time getting to the ring as well.
What a dick! What a great!
It's typical Naito.
What?
Yeah,
I deeply respect what he did, and I think he deserves to do that. I think he's making a point. I am one of the biggest stars in Japan, and you wouldn't let me be it. But I am gonna come out here, make a little bit of a show of it.
Yeah,
but I am gonna pay your dues, and then you can get on a car, go around the arena, and then make a speech.
Yeah,
it's a good speech.
Yeah,
you should.
Yep, it was, and I mean, and even Tanahashi himself said that if you ever want to come back to wrestle in New Japan again, the door's always open. So. I mean, there's that level. Even though Naito was pretty much being an ass towards Tanahashi in some way or another, but you could tell that there's a very strong level of mutual respect that they have against each other as well. But that entire, I mean, I have seen my fair share of pro wrestling retirement ceremonies as well, but I honestly feel like everything leading up to that moment was perfect. I mean, outside of Sting, nobody else had the retirement run that Tanahashi had. I mean, from start to finish, it was all about Tanahashi like putting in as much as he can, as much as his body can handle, wrestling against guys from his past, from his present, and even the guys in the future who would lead New Japan as well, as his way of like saying goodbye to everybody. And I mean, yeah, I guess bias is being shown as well in every facet, but I mean, he had maybe the best retirement any wrestler could ever dream of. I mean, he got to retire on like the biggest show of the year in the main event in front of the first the first sellout crowd for a Wrestle Kingdom since the January 4th Dome shows were rebranded as Wrestle Kingdom way back in 2007. And he had a perfect opponent, and then he had wrestlers from the past. Yeah, I know a lot of people would have wanted Shinsuke Nakamura to be a part of it, myself included, but it is what it is. But all the wrestlers who came out to see him, like, every one of them all had some sort of history with Tanahashi. Like Jay White, when he was a young lion, Tanahashi kind of took him under his wing, which of course led to White challenging Tanahashi for the Intercontinental Championship when he reinvented himself as Switchblade at Wrestle Kingdom 12, and then you have Will Ospreay, who also has his fair share of history with Tanahashi. You have Omega, who has had a lot of great matches, including that Wrestle Kingdom match with Tanahashi as well. And Ibushi, former IWGP Tag Team Champions with Tanahashi, put on, again, one of the greatest matches I've seen when they wrestled in the finals of the G1 Climax in 2018 as well. Muto and Fujinami, I mean, Fujinami was like, when there was like an unofficial three musketeers during Fujinami's time with Antonio Inoki and Riki Choshu. And Fujinami played the role of like the pro wrestler kind of thing. And then Muto took after him as well. Keiji Muto took after Fujinami. And then Tanahashi took over Keiji Muto. And now we're seeing that with Shota Umino taking over Tanahashi. So there's sort of like that lineage kind of thing as well, where it kind of made sense for Fujinami and Muto to have that moment with Tanahashi, because in that sense, they inspired Tanahashi. I mean, even when Tanahashi was in his young lion days, he was already like out of that young lion phase. He was using Fujinami's finishers, Dragon Sleeper, Dragon Suplex as his finisher before, he started using the Sling Blade and eventually the High Fly Flow. So it made sense for those guys to be there as well. Obviously, with Muto being there, Tanahashi did beat Muto to become IWGP Heavyweight Champion for the third time when New Japan needed him after a very forgettable TNA run in the later half of 2008. So yeah, it was a really good. I mean, they picked they picked the right people to send Tanahashi off and pay tribute to him. Bushi and Bushi was a bit of an odd choice because I don't think he and Tanahashi had that much history together. Naito did though, and I think Naito being the guy to finally be the one to send him off, considering that they couldn't get Shinsuke Nakamura for obvious reasons, I think it was perfect. And just the way it was built up was perfect. And yeah, I mean, Tanahashi can have his retirement ceremony for 3-5 hours and it would still be good. But he needed to milk everything he can. Yeah.
And it truly wasn't over until he had his haircut and that was released online. That was the real end of,
I think
Tanahashi.
That was truly the end. I was sad because Tanahashi was one of the guys who inspired me to grow my hair out. So now it's like, what, am I going to cut my hair now? No, I don't think so.
No, only cut your hair when you retire. That's the rule.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I think one of the understated things that I felt doesn't really get talked about online, because once Tanahashi left, once he finally said his final aishitemasu to the crowd and he walks away, the broadcast was not over yet, because then they played a retrospective on all of Tanahashi's greatest moments, like his defining moments, his career highlights. And they did it to his old theme song, which was High Energy, I think. It was his old theme song before he switched to Love and Energy. And when that happened, I think my body had a bit of an out-of-body experience where I started being transported 20 years ago to when it was outside the Tokyo Dome on that cold, yeah, it was cold because it was winter at that time, and it was a cold day. Um, I was just walking around in Tokyo City, waiting for Wrestling World 2006 to start, and I remember seeing like a crowd of people gathering, and I was like, "What on earth is going on?" And then from a distance, I saw Tanahashi there, and it turns out he was having a meet and greet. And the only way to be part of that meet and greet is if you purchase Tanahashi's theme song and Nakamura's theme song, or both in my case, because I got both of their theme songs as well. Then you get to meet Tanahashi. And I think to this day, because I've met my fair share of celebrities here and there, but to this day, I have never been this starstruck as I was when I met Tanahashi. Like, I didn't even know what else to say to him except I just told him Gambare, which is like all the best for his, for his match against Katsuyori Shibata that evening. And when that theme song started playing after Tanahashi made his final bow, that was when the waterworks started coming out, because I was like, oh my god, yeah, I was taken back to that day 20 years ago when I met Tanahashi, and yeah, and now he's retired, like he's gone, and even I don't want to admit it. I don't want to admit it, but it's hard for me to navigate a post Tanahashi world in wrestling. I gotta be very straight up and honest. It's very hard for me to navigate.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing, though. He's not really gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's the president of New
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
He'll be at the press
Mhm.
conferences. He's
Yeah.
New Japan's Tony Khan. He'll come out and talk about Time
Yeah.
Cop or whatever the Japanese film equivalent to Time Cop is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
So
will
that's
remain
the good thing,
an identity on television, because he's a great
Yeah.
marketing tool for New Japan. It's like, look, it's that guy we all love. And everyone it comes out and he goes, hello,
Yeah.
I'm that goofy guy who was the
Yeah.
best wrestler in Japan.
I mean, that's the thing as well. I mean, that's the good thing too, because yeah, even though Tanahashi is retired, I mean, I will miss watching him wrestling, because he is also the face of New Japan as their president. He can still come out, cut a promo, start promoting shows here and there, be at press conferences. I mean, at least we can still see him in that capacity. Going back to Tam Nakano from Stardom, after she retired, she did an interview with Tokyo Sports, talking about her future plans and her career. And then she completely disappeared off the face of the earth. Her social media has not been updated since she retired. Nobody knows what she's been up to. I mean, Shingo Takagi and Natsupoi just got married recently, which is like the most high-profile wedding marriage announcement since Konosuke Takeshita and Yuka Sakazaki got announced that they have been married for a while. I guess if they do have their wedding reception, maybe Tom might make an appearance, like a first public appearance since the retirement. I don't know, but that that broke my heart, knowing that we have not seen Tam Nakano since. But at the same time, good for her, because maybe she needed to step away from the limelight and not be there. But yeah, on the flip side, we still have Tanahashi, who's still in the public eye, and that's still a good thing. That's still a good thing at the very least, that we still get to see him. It's just that we won't see him wrestle at all, unless something happens and he suddenly comes out of retirement for one match. Then yeah, but then again,
he's also
how do you
gone
top?
out on,
how do you?
Yeah, he's gone out on top. He's wrestled a match where he looked a bit rough over the last year. Like, there were moments where him in the ring, you were like, oh god, oh no. And in this match, he looked the best he's looked all year. And it was a really great match. One of the best retirement matches. I'd argue it's better than Sting's, because Sting's retirement match is actually about Darby Allin and his sons.
Yeah.
Whereas this is about Tanahashi, and Tanahashi is the main character of it. And they're both incredible matches. But like, this is probably the best retirement a wrestler could ever have. Don't Tanahashi, don't come back. Don't come back. I'm asking. I'm
Yeah.
making you. I'm giving you some advice. Don't come back. If you want to do another Garo movie, do another Garo movie. If you want to do another Kamen Rider movie, do a Kamen Rider movie. Please go ahead. I would like to
Yeah.
see that actually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I quite
I
I
mean,
have been
yeah. I mean, the
pitching for him to do a Kamen Rider series for years, and no one ever listens to me.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, the guy could also start making more movies as well. So I can totally see that happening. I mean, sure, it might get in the way of his official duties as the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I could totally see him do movies as well. Um, and okay, but in the event, because I agree with you, he doesn't need to come back and wrestle anymore. But if he does, it should just be a grappling exhibition match for like, I don't know, 3-5 minutes, and that's it. Like what he did with Shibata at Wrestle Dynasty. That's what I would want to see him do. Not go balls to the walls like he did against Okada and throughout his entire career. So, but yeah, I agree. He needs to stay retired and he needs to enjoy his retirement. I mean, he's got a very, very huge responsibility right now as New Japan's president. So now,
And
I guess now is the time to see where the next generation is going to go. And I think New Japan is healthy as well in that regard.
and now he's retired.
Yeah.
Now's the perfect time
Mm.
to fire Grado as the head booker and get someone else in.
Yes. Yeah.
He's not going to do it, but he
Maybe
really
yeah.
should.
I agree. I mean, I think New Japan is really at it. And this is one of the things I love about New Japan. They know how to create new stars as well. They already have Yota Tsuji. And now they've got Shota Umino and Ren Narita, who, okay, in the event Evil leaves New Japan, I could see Ren Narita being the leader of House of Torture, especially since he's been pushed to be the new Musketeers along with Umino and Tsuji. Although that also is a bit murky as well because you had Yuya Uemura coming back from his stint over in TNA and now inserting himself into that picture. And then on top of that, you have Ryohei Oiwa coming after he had a bit of a run in Pro Wrestling Noah and then coming back and inserting himself in that picture as well. So yeah, I honestly think New Japan is very, very, I think they're safe. They're
It's the
safe. And then
strongest,
on top of that, yeah.
the strongest they've looked since the pandemic. They've had a real
like,
rough 5 years trying to rebuild after the pandemic,
yeah,
and this
yeah.
is the strongest they've looked. There's a lot of healthy talent in their divisions. They also they seem to know what they want to focus on, and some of that is America, but some of that is let's just build New Japan for Japan. And I think that's the correct thing. Like back when we all liked New Japan, we liked New Japan because they were putting on the best stuff, and it didn't matter that we weren't the target audience. The rest of the world wasn't target audience. Like it was just that they had the stars come over and prove themselves, and then they kind of went. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They're looking really strong. There's lots of great new talent that are coming up through the ranks, and I hope that they stay strong and overall, really good show. There's literally only one match. I'm like, didn't really need this. And that's the faction warfare match. The rest of it, I'm like, great. And it made me want to watch two different promotions. It made me want to watch what happens next for New Japan, but it also made me want to go, oh, I'm going to go watch Stardom.
Yeah. I mean, both promotions are healthy as it is because they know how to build stars. They know how to push like talents who are up and coming as well. Even Stardom is the same as well. Like, okay, we lost Julia, who is now in WWE. We lost Mayu Iwatani, who's now with Marigold, along with Utami Hayashishita, who is also a former big star in Stardom as well. We lost Tam Nakano last year, but yeah, we have Saya Kamitani, who's like a big star. We have the likes of Starlight Kid and Azumi, who could also get to that level at some point. the tag division is great. I mean, you have like Hazuki and Koguma. You have Sayaka Kurara and Aya Sakura, who are like the future of Stardom as well. So
It's retiring,
yeah, I mean,
unfortunately.
sorry,
Karura,
who?
Karura is retiring this year. She's announced.
So soon? On. Okay. I did
Yeah,
not
I
know
know.
that.
Am I right? That's the one who's really lazy and will just pull a pin out of the.
Oh no! That wasn't
No,
Kurara. That was Saki Kashima. Saki
I
Kashima is the one who's retiring. Yeah.
okay. One of them is. I knew
Yeah.
one. I knew someone was.
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I get the names
No
confused.
worries.
I'll get better at it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
signed my favorite. They've signed my favorite wrestler, Makito.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's kind of funny because there's always been this sort of like this there's always been this conflict between Tam Nakano and Maki Ito on who the cutest wrestler is. Like Ito would say, "I'm the cutest wrestler in the world," and Tam Nakano's like, "I'm the top kawaii of the cosmos," that kind of thing as well. And funny enough, they both did interact with each other on a variety show where they were challenging each other, like who can eat the most or anything like that. But it's kind of funny how, like, after Tam Nakano retired, Maki Ito came into Stardom and signed there as well, because that would have been a dream match to see,
Yeah.
honestly. But it's a shame that that's probably not gonna happen. But good for Maki Ito though. I mean, she's already proven to be a big star back in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and in America as well, where she was also competing extensively.
I don't know
And
why Tony didn't sign her. If I ever meet Tony, I'm gonna ask him, mate, why didn't you sign Mackie? What have you done? Why have you done this? Like, and also,
exactly,
and also,
exactly.
what are you ever gonna follow
Mhm.
up on the angle where Riho turned on Yuka in the freeway for the women's title in the first year of AEW? Because I'm the only person who
Yeah,
remembers that bit of the match, and I've still never got a follow up. One day I will ask Tony
yeah. I
Khan,
mean,
Tony, what
yeah,
happened? What happened, mate? I was really
yeah.
invested in that story.
that's a good.
I'm the
That's
only
that's
person
a
who
good thing
remembers
to
it.
ask. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
well, yeah,
yeah. Now that you brought it up, exactly. Like, what was? Yeah. But
crazy.
honestly, I do think that New Japan and Stardom have a very strong, bright future ahead, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, great show overall, and a worthy farewell
Mhm.
to probably
Yes.
one of the best who's ever done it or will do it. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you very much
What
for
a way to go
joining me.
out. That's all I can
Yeah,
say for Tanahashi. What a way to go out. Yeah.
well, thank you very much for joining me. Going through this pay per view, correcting me in all my terrible pronunciation,
My pleasure.
giving us the history, giving us the
it's all
information
good.
I didn't have,
Yeah.
sharing your
Yeah.
experience of meeting Tanahashi and your connection to it. So really
Yeah.
great time.
Mm.
Yeah, this has been
Yeah.
a refreshing experience, and yeah,
It was fun.
thank
It was fun.
thank you.
I had a good
Please
time.
plug
Yeah.
plug your stuff. Tell us where we can find you
Yeah.
and your various activities, and then we'll say goodbye. And
Yeah.
I'll get this
So,
edited.
so yeah, I stream on Twitch at least 4 times a week. Where you can just find me at twitch.tv/Johan_singer. I stream a variety of stuff from fighting games, modern and retro games, even visual novels, even indie games. And because I'm a performer at Trade as well, I also do karaoke streams. I also do just dance streams as well. So, because I gotta be fit as well to do a lot of things. Um, and I'm pretty much, you can just find me everywhere at Johan_singer. I'm pretty much I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you can find me. So yeah, you can just follow me on there. And yeah, I look forward to seeing all of you wherever you can find me, basically. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's us for an episode of pay per view. Pay per view will return at some point, unfortunately, AEW still don't have a pay per view for 3 months. So
Oh yeah,
maybe we'll
that's right.
have another.
Revolution is in March, right? I think.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we'll have another guest come on and do something with me, or maybe me and Bex will review Time Cop as a joke. Until then, uh,
Yeah.
goodbye.